Tomorrow, the NASCAR Winston Cup teams will attempt to tackle this 2-mile oval. However, today, it's the Midwestern-based ARCA Series, and there are some similarities. Two-time series champion Tim Steele may be the Rusty Wallace of ARCA with a feast or famine style of racing. Both seem to either celebrate the win in victory lane or spin to their end in rather spectacular fashion. And then there's Mr. Consistency, Frank Kimmel, who drives the Terry Labonte way, knowing that patience and persistence can pay off with a point lead, although it may not always lead to a trip to victory lane.
Well, Mark Thompson starts on the pole today. He may be the Mark Martin of the ARCA Series. So many times he's run second and third, right there on the edge. Then at Charlotte, all of a sudden, that first elusive ARCA victory, that first Speedway victory. He's got the same car here at Michigan. He's on the pole. Can you make it 2 Speedway races this year?
We sure hope so, Ken. We've got a good starting position, and we hope to bring it home to victory lane.
Well, he hopes to finish right where he starts. Okay, Bill Weber.
Well, Kyle, Tim Steele is the defending series champion. In 6 races this year, he has 3 wins, but he also has 3 finishes of 34th or worse. On Thursday in first round qualifying, he was going for the pole. He was going for the track record. He was going for 25 bonus points, but where he ended up was in the wall. He was second round fastest in qualifying and second fastest overall. Tim, what happened on Thursday?
You know, I guess we were just going for it, going for the, you know, a new track record. And, you know, now where I'm at, I need a telescope to see the front of the field. You know, it's you know, it just happened. I was going for it. Maybe I was just trying a little bit too hard, trying to beat that new track record, or beat that track record by a bunch instead of just a little bit.
Well, he starts 26th and has his work cut out for him. He's 22 miles an hour faster than the 25th qualifier and 16 miles an hour faster than the car that starts directly in front of him.
ESPN, the worldwide leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speed World. Today live from the beautifully manicured Michigan Speedway situated in the lush Irish hills of Michigan, it's the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series Jasper Engines 200. After just 6 of 22 events on the $3 million tour, Frank Kimmel holds a comfortable 220-point lead over Mark Thompson with just 100 points separating Bob Strait, Mark Gibson, and Tim Steele. And last year's Rookie of the Year, Blaze Alexander, despite an abysmal start, finds himself in the top 10, 9th overall. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us, along with two-time ARCA Series champion Benny Parsons and former ARCA Series media coordinator Ray Dunlap. You know, when we talk about racing here at this extremely wide D-shaped oval, 2 words come to mind: speed and strategy. It is extremely fast here, and fuel is critical. Benny, when we're talking about speed, the pole here is just 4 miles an hour slower than Daytona. This racetrack is deceptively quick.
Folks, it's fast. I'm talking about really, really fast. The fastest racetrack that the ARCA cars or even the Winston Cup cars run on. A little over 200 miles per hour going down in turn 1. Tim Steele trying to pass those cars to get to the front. In turn 1, he'll be approaching 200 miles per hour. And you got to go left, touch the brakes just a little bit, and get their car around the corner. That's why they only average about 180 miles per hour.
Well, you're fast, but you also got to be efficient here. You know, fuel mileage is so critical. Many of the ARCA and NASCAR races over the years, Ray, have been won on strategy. What is it today?
Well, it's definitely fuel mileage, Jerry. This is a very fast racetrack, but it's a very wide racetrack. And that means the drivers can race each other, and that means very few cautions here at Michigan. With very few cautions, that means fuel mileage is going to come into play. Now, the Chevrolets think they can make it to halfway, but the Ford guy says, no way, we got to have 2 stops today.
A lot of questions to be answered here, but one question you don't have to answer is the Detroit area fans love their Red Wings, and rightfully so. They now hold Lord Stanley's Cup, but they also love racing, and we'll show you why in a moment. Our Speed World coverage of the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series Jasper Engines 200 from Michigan Speedway is being brought to you today by Quaker State Motor Oil for a clean running engine, and by Suzuki. Your Suzuki motorcycle and ATV dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. Let's take a look at our starting lineup for today. 36 cars will start up front. Mark Thompson for the 3rd consecutive time. The 45-year-old driver from Cartersville, Georgia, will lead down our Suzuki starting grid. 36 starters alongside him as they come to you. Perry Tripp, his best qualifying ever outside of row 1 out of Fredericksburg, Maryland. Row 2, Ed Barrier, the rookie driver, fresh from a second-place finish at Pocono, Pennsylvania, alongside Mark Gibson, a former Rookie of the Year. Back in row 3. Take a look at Frank Kimmel. He is the current point leader. Watch him to come in a hurry. And rookie Jimmy Kitchens out of Hueyton, Alabama, the KC Racing Team Ford. Back in row 4, Blaze Alexander, last year's Rookie of the Year, starts inside of row 4, and beside him, USAC midget competitor Jimmy McCune. And row 5, Kurt Shelverdine, 12 years with Richard Jonas, 8 years as crew chief for Earnhardt, and Bobby Gerhardt, the 1988 Rookie of the Year. So look at the rest of the field, Benny Parsons. There are some very, very good cars starting toward the back of the pack.
Yeah, how about Dave Blaney? Won the World of Outlaws race last night down in Bloomington, Indiana. Mike Duchetti alongside him. And Jeff Streeter, just what, 17 years old, out of California, has moved to North Carolina to go racing. Josh Baldus, the grandson of Earl Baldus down of Eldora Speedway. And there's a guy that you know, Harold, in the 64 car race.
Yeah, he's a two-time ARCA midget champion. Rick Shepard will be starting on row 10 along with Ed Curtis in car number 73. As we move back to row 11, Danny Pardus, a youngster in this series, along with Bill Flowers from Powder Springs, Georgia.
And all the way back in the pack, we talked about Tim Steele starting back in 20. There's Tom Bigelow, the USAC Sprint Car Hall of Famer, the oldest rookie in ARCA competition, 857. There is Tim Steele starting in 26th position outside of row 13. And behind him, another veteran, third in the points, Bob Strait in the car number 21. They had engine trouble on Thursday. He qualified in 27th starting position.
You'll see Doug Coletta on the outside of row 15. That's Connie's son. And the best name of all, 02 car, Dick Tracy.
As you look at our starting lineup, a couple of cars already pulling off, having some troubles. The car number 7 of Doug Coletta, that's the Charlie Newby Racing Chrysler, and the 84 of Norm Benning. Benning was having engine trouble yesterday, as those cars have already taken a look toward the garage area. Our track description here, Michigan Speedway, 2 miles, the front stretch 3,600 feet in length, back straightaway 2,242 feet. And Benny, the banking here a little bit in section, 18 degrees is not a lot.
100 laps today. Race record is a little over 142 miles per hour. That was set in 1996 by Ron Barfield. Look at that, 180.8 miles per hour for the pole speed. Pit window, 40 to 53. Now, folks, this is really critical. If you can run 53, you can make it on 1. If you can only run 40 laps, you're in trouble.
Take a look at our onboard cameras. We have 3 with us today. Mark Thompson, our pole sitter, will be carrying an onboard camera, the Midway Island Ford.
That's not an onboard camera, folks. We're just trying to trick you. Make sure you're paying attention. That was not an onboard camera.
But trust me, we have 3 of them here in the field. As we show you the cars that are in today's field, the manufacturer separation, there are 14 Fords, 16 Chevys, 3 Pontiacs, 2 Oldsmobiles,
0 Buicks,
and 1 Dodge.
And that 1 Dodge was the one that Doug Coletta is in. Charlie Newby, of course, builds those engines. They have gone to the garage. They've had some trouble all weekend with the engine in car number 7.
Let's check out Tim Steele, see if he's ready to go. Tim Steele, this is Benny Parsons up at ESPN. You read me?
Got you, Benny. Go ahead.
You got a long ways to go. You ready?
Oh, man, I'm ready. You know, we're just going to take our time and, you know, pick them off one at a time and come in and pit. And I know my guys will get me out first once they come in the pit. They've been practicing. They're ready to go.
All right, cinch those belts up. Almost time to go racing.
And as you heard Bill Weber,
We'll see you, buddy.
And as you heard Bill Weber tell you, he is back there mired among a lot of slower traffic. His speed, 178.2, the 3rd quickest overall in the field. As the green flag waves, glad to have you here in Michigan.
There for a second, coming off the corner. That Mark Gibson on the inside.
Perry Tripp.
Perry Tripp down on the inside. Now he is inside of Gibson. There is the 66 car of Mark Thompson. He is the leader. They scamper out of turn 4 for the first time of 100 laps, 200 miles here at Michigan Speedway. And we told you Tim Steele would be coming in a hurry from 26th spot. That's where he started. We've run 1 lap. And there's the car number 16, the HS Dye machine.
First time by, he was running in 19th spot, so he picked up 7 spots as he comes off the corner, closes it on the back bumper of Ed Curtis. Oh, Ed Curtis goes over and blocks that move. Now Tim Steele will go to the inside and pick up the 18th spot.
Yeah, Tim Steele saying, I've already seen this concrete in turn 3 once up close and personal this weekend. Let's not see it again. They are side by side, back for 3rd position, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Great race. Mark Gibson trying to hold off. There's Gibson in the red hood with the white front. The Ford Thunderbird is sitting behind him. They are door to door, or were.
They are racing. There's Frank Kimmel, the 46 car. Ed Verrier trying to work their way towards the front. And Mark Gibson, that 59 car, has been running so doggone well. 47 doing a great job as well.
I'll tell you, Benny, both those drivers you're talking about, Gibson and Berry, are having some great runs the last couple of weeks. Gibson should have won last week at Pocono, broke a ratchet in the rear end, and they were out with just a few laps to go.
Gibson led the most laps at Pocono, had a great finish on ESP in the beginning of the year, 3rd at Daytona. There's a look at Mark Gibson's car number 59, Ernie Elliott power, so you know he doesn't have to worry about horsepower here at the extremely fast Michigan Speedway.
Mark Gibson is Tony Gibson's brother. He is now the crew chief for Resendiz, the NASCAR Craftsman truck team that Dave Resendiz drives for all party.
We are in the early laps here at Michigan Speedway. The Jasper Engines 200 ARCA Series event underway, and Mark Thompson is our leader. We'll be right back. Beautiful shots from high above Michigan Speedway, courtesy of the fine folks at Bud One Airship. 1,000-acre complex here in the Irish Hills of Michigan. Early laps of ARCA competition. Mark Thompson, who was the pole sitter, is our leader. Perry Tripp, he's the white car, the car number 6 in the 2nd spot.
And I think the other white car is Jimmy Kitchens.
What about the current series champion, car number 16, Benny, on the move?
Well, I think that puts him in about 9th spot. And we have a caution flag on the racetrack.
Apparently, the Tom Bigelow car may have had an engine come apart a moment ago, and Bigelow's car, trying to coast back toward the pits, has made it in, but there may be some concern over some debris on the racetrack from that engine. Bigelow, only his 2nd start in 1997, brings out the first caution flag. 57-year-old, former 9-time entrant in the Indy 500. Here's a look at Bigelow.
And that blue smoke is always bad news. Somebody's spending some money when that stuff, when that oil, when the engine breaks and the oil gets on the exhaust system, heats up and it turns that blue smoke, somebody's spending money.
Well, he started Daytona, Benny, and had the same kind of ending. Had an engine problem down there, tried to work to get the engine program together, came to Michigan for his 2nd start here in 1997, ends up in the same way. Also on pit road, the 06 making a quick stop.
Tim Mitchell, it's like chassis adjustment in the left rear.
And Benny, at the exact same time that Bigelow came in, Sheldon Holman made it to the pit area too in car number 14. He's from Indianapolis, and that may be part of the reason why there was a caution.
Well, there's Wayne Peterson making a serious chassis adjustment on the 06. Meanwhile, Mark Thompson, the Midway Island Ford, is our leader. Back in a moment. Back at Michigan Speedway, under caution for the first time today due to an erupted engine. We have confirmed it was a blown engine on Tom Bigelow's Winchester Furniture Chevrolet, the Sprint Car Hall of Famer. 52 USAC victories in sprint car racing, was entered in the Hall of Fame in Knoxville, Iowa last June. Calls it a short afternoon here at Michigan Speedway.
I told him he's too old to do this. I talked to Bigelow yesterday. I said, you're as old as I am. You're way too old to do this. He said, yeah, too old to do this, but too young to not do it.
Track facts are brought to you by Quaker State Motor Oil for a clean running engine. With
Through the years in any type of stock car racing, especially super speedway racing, a big concern has been carbon monoxide. Drivers have tried millions of things. We've tried face masks, we've tried special helmets, we've tried a little bit of everything. The latest thing in this design is a carbon monoxide filter from the Space Industries here. What it does, it hooks up to a side vent on the car. The air blows through a tube, it comes into here, and what it does, it passes through a filter out here and into the side of the helmet that Simpson has designed for us. Now what this does is, when the carbon monoxide gets in the car and gets in your body, it's tough to get it out. You get a little groggy, your hands get a little numb. At 190 miles an hour, you don't want to be going to sleep out there somewhere. But what has happened through the years, since the cars have gotten more and more aerodynamic with side windows, with certain things, the air inside the car doesn't move. So what happens? The more carbon monoxide builds up inside the car. The more carbon monoxide builds up inside the car, the more you get in your body. The more you get in your body, the more dangerous you become on the racetrack. This is a major safety innovation that's come along just in the last 2 or 3 years, like I said, that we've been trying. This seat appears to be the latest thing in that line, and I tell you what, as much hot air as comes out of that booth up there, these guys in the booth may need some of these later.
Hey, Kyle, didn't you lose your water jug in the one end of that? Isn't that a water jug in the other end?
It looks kind of like a water jug, Benny, right here. I tell you what, I'm going to tell you, Benny, to tell you the truth, these things really work. It's incredible. I've had, last week they tested, and the thing is, you start into the race, you have no carbon monoxide, you come out, you have none with this. In the past, I've had as much as 10 or 12%.
See, originally they had a very small filter, and a lot of the guys said that it would help with carbon monoxide, but that you couldn't get enough air into the helmet. You were starved for air on the hot nights, and you would tend to overheat inside the car. Now with the bigger filter, they've solved that problem. Here is the Frank Kimmel in-car camera, Benny, getting a nice shot of what he looks out of his windshield.
See, I thought they were trying to advertise Oasis natural spring water. I thought that was a water bottle stuck in the other end of that filter.
All right, under caution for the first time today, and hopefully the only time at Michigan Speedway, Mark Thompson is our leader. Be right back. Couldn't ask for better timing. Green flag waves, courtesy of Hank Wetzel and Marco. Series back underway with Mark Thompson leading them now to turn one.
And we got a battle for second spot as Kitchens tries to get alongside Perry Tripp. Can't make it. He'll fall back in line.
And Benny, while all this is going on up front, guess who's clear at the tail of the race? Dave Blaney in car number 80.
Made a pit stop, changed 4 tires, didn't he? And you know what? Might be good strategy. 2 tires. We talked about that at the very beginning of the race. He now might be able to make it on 1 more stop.
That could be a great move. Strategy by Stan Hoover in the car number 80. As you're riding along, looking out the back of Mark Thompson's Phoenix Midway Ford. That's Perry Tripp behind him.
See, Mark Thompson's on the World Wide Web. And what he's also got somebody on his back bumper. Can Perry Tripp go?
He loves this racetrack here at Michigan, guys. Last year he had a couple of great runs here, finished 4th in this race, then came back and backed it up with a 3rd place run, so this is a good racetrack for Perry Tripp.
How about Jimmy Kitchens, a rookie from Hewington, Alabama? First time he'd ever come to this racetrack. Brady Humphreys, a veteran crew chief here, has that car dialed in, but a good job by Kitchens here to hold on to Tripp's rear bumper, and now closing in on him.
He's tried this move up 2 or 3 times. Every time he comes off the second corner, Kitchens takes a look. But wisely, when he realizes he can't do it, he backs up, falls back in line, because these cars running in line, nose to tail, can run much faster than cars running side by side.
Eddie, if you're the spotter for Jimmy Kitchens, knowing it's his first time here and his first pass at speed, what are you telling him right now?
I don't think you're telling him anything, because he looks to me like he's doing a great job. When he comes off 2 and does not go ahead and force that issue and get up there, that tells me he's got a real presence about what's going on around here.
One car, we're being told, got a black flag for a stop and go. That is Bill Flowers in the car number 44, the Powder Springs, Georgia driver.
He jumped to restart. The caution flag we had just a moment ago, and they threw the green flag. You aren't supposed to pass on the inside until you get to the start-finish line. He said, bad boy, Bill. Here comes Tim Steele trying to work his way towards the front.
Well, he's He's got his sights set on Blaze Alexander from Montoursville, PA right now in car number 26. That's the Lisa Express Chevrolet, and Steele's going to try him on the outside.
And the high road for Steele takes last year's Rookie of the Year back a position all the way from 26 starting spot. Tim Steele from Coopersville, Michigan. And a possible challenge up front, but no, Thompson slams the door on Perry Tripp.
Tell you what, Perry Tripp, did someone tell me he has this small block 2 version engine in this 6 car? And it looks to me like this thing just makes awfully good horsepower down the straightaway, because the 66 car has Ernie Elliott power, and that's no slouch. We all know that.
Well, not only does he have just the new SB2, Perry Tripp, we're talking about that white car you're seeing on the screen, he has a Richard Childress SB2. Oh. Terry Elledge and Steve Wilson doing R&D for Richard Childress Racing, and that SB2 second generation short block or small block Chevy is putting out some horsepower.
Yes, it is. A couple of times he has made the move on the 66 down the straightaway.
The exact same engine that they have in the car this weekend, guys. He ran at Charlotte last year. He wasn't really happy with the car, so they've worked on the race car and the setup, but this engine performing very well for him today.
They passed a slower car coming off the corner, thought it might get in Thompson's way. Not the case. 3 cars for the lead, nose to tail, Ford, Chevrolet.
Although Mark Thompson sat on the pole for both events here a year ago, he only led a total of 8 laps in Michigan. He got passed early on and ran in the top 5 most of the day. But today, that is not going to happen. I won the pole, and I'm going to stay there for 100 laps, I hope to anyway. But Perry Tripp not giving him much room to breathe, and neither is Jimmy Kitchens.
You know, over the years, starting from the pole in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series here at Michigan, hasn't been very good. Matter of fact, Joe Ruttman is the only driver that's ever won this race from the pole, and this is the 12th time that they've run here at MIS.
Benny, you're explaining why fuel mileage is so important here. It's because of the width of this racetrack. Look at the turns. It's 73 feet wide with a 10-foot apron in the turns and 45 feet wide with a 12-foot apron on the straightaway.
Well, you know, we talk about fuel mileage and trying to being able to run 47, 48 laps. If you move to the top of the racetrack, then you probably are going to have to be able to run 45 or 46 laps because of the distance you're going around the racetrack. And Tim Steele, how far away is the leader? There we see the 2 white cars through the windshield of the Tim Steele automobile, and the black car right in front, that is the leader. And we see that he's now only 2.2 seconds behind Mark Thompson. In 5 laps, he closed 0.8 of a second.
There's the view out the back, the rear bumper, right above the rear bumper of Mark Thompson's Ford. You heard Kyle Petty tell you, Mark Thompson, the veteran ARCA campaigner, got his first ever ARCA win at Charlotte Motor Speedway back last month, in the month of May.
Benny, what does that do to you as a driver? He's been out here an awful lot of times, finished second a lot of times here at Michigan, but now he's had that win. Does it change your attitude?
Oh, exactly. I mean, that's one reason that he's doing so well here today. The mental part of this game, folks, is so important. You have to think you can win before you can win.
This is 13th, 14th, and 15th in car number 18, 20, and 21. Good run for Josh Baltus, the Baltus Commercial Realty Chevrolet. He's the car number 18.
20 car is Jeff Streeter. Is he 17 or 18 years old?
He's 17 years of age, a junior at Brawley Union High School in California.
Here's our field summary as we, and in parentheses on the right, you can see where they started. Tim Steele currently running 5th, started 26th. Kirk Shelmerdine in the 3 car started 9th, still there. Bob Strait started 27th. The Petron car is now in 15th. There he is right in the middle of the screen, the red and white car.
And see, Dave Blaney made that pit stop. A very good strategy move. Car number 80 back now in 17th position.
Well, you talk about that being strategy, Jerry. Really, when it'll play out is when the cars come in for their first pit stop, and he'll move all the way up to the front of the field. You have to kind of see how the cautions fly the rest of the race here.
And Steele closes in right on the back bumper of the 4th place car, Mark Gibson. Spotters warned him there was a slow car on the inside, so he chose just to follow Gibson through the corner.
Well, as you see Tim Steele making his way toward the front, let's check in with Bill Weber.
Well, Jerry, Tim Steele's brush with the wall in qualifying was not that team's only problem this weekend. Yesterday, after they were second round fastest in second round qualifying, and they had a final practice for the ARCA cars Friday morning, they were going through the engine on that 16 car and found out that Tim actually broke the engine in that final practice just before he came in. They were just about to get that car ready and send it back out, and that was going to be their setup for the race. Kirk Shelmerdine also battling out there in traffic, so they had to pull that engine out, put a new one in, and that was another one of their concerns here. Right now, the 16 car looking to the inside of the 59. And Tim Steele trying to pick up another position, and his crew chief, Tom Sokolowski, told him, just be patient, we'll get to the front. But he doesn't have to be too patient now, he can see the leaders.
How about Mike Giacchetti? The 17 car was 10th. Past two cars going down the backstretch. Kirk Shelmerdine and Jimmy McCune is now up into the 7th spot.
And Kirk Shelmerdine was the meat in that sandwich. They were 3 wide a moment ago down the back straightaway.
You're looking at Giacchetti right there in the Hughes Supply, number 17. Last week at Pocono had his best ever career run, a 4th place there, and they have switched that car over to Ford now, so a change of makes on the 17 for Mike Giacchetti.
There's Mike Giacchetti in the car number 17. Shelmerdine, familiar number and color, the black number 3 for Kirk Shelmerdine, who spent 12 years with Richard Childress Racing, 8 as a crew chief for Dale Earnhardt, and they picked up 4 Winston Cup titles. Mark Thompson is our leader, but he's got to know by virtue of radio that Tim Steele has come from 26th to 4th and is coming in a hurry. Back with more live ARCA action from Michigan in a moment. Back in Michigan Speedway, after qualifying 9th, Kirk Shelmerdine takes the Jackaroo Chevrolet back to the garage area. He has run here twice before, recorded 2 DNFs. Looks like he'll make it a sweep 3 in a row as he heads back to park that car after a great qualifying and a great effort early on here in Michigan.
He did a great job coasting that thing in on the shoulder, didn't he?
Oh, he did. Now, he has one of those SP2s, also talking about some of the R&D being done on the small block Chevrolets. His by Clements Automotive out of Spartanburg. His didn't make it that many laps.
Now we see the 20 car, Jeff Streeter and Bob Strait in the 21 car. Now we'll go back to the... We're looking for them. There we see. There they are. Streeter and Boucher. Boucher's car, I should say.
Well, Straight's currently 3rd in the points right now, Benny, in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde series. But boy, the part of the schedule that they love is coming up. They're going to go short track racing in the next couple of weeks. And Bob Strait, the real veteran when it comes to short track racing, a brand new hookup here as he is now racing with Jack Bowser.
And look where he's come from. Started back in 27th spot, now being shown in the top 15. Talking about the car number 21. Now here's our leader in some traffic. Goes between 2 cars. The black car is the leader. That's Mark Thompson. Right behind him, the white and blue number 6, or teal number 6. That's Perry Tripp in 2nd spot. And they made it through, Benny.
Made it through. They split Jerry Hill and another car on the inside.
Fred Zach was on the inside there, BP.
Tim Steele is just slowly closing in.
Yeah, if you just joined us, they qualified the pole over 180, almost 181 miles an hour. So it's very deceptive, the speed here. The laps last time by, the leader, almost 173 in traffic. So, Benny, we're talking about significant straightaway speed.
And Blaze Alexander that last lap and Mark Gibson both ran almost 175 miles per hour. So traffic, this is a great, huge, wide racetrack, but traffic can cause you a problem. There we see Tim Steele as he closes in.
Well, it's no surprise that Steele is catching up to the leaders here, guys, but will he be able to pass them? That's a bigger question.
Yeah, exactly. Because we saw he was only 2.2 seconds behind a few laps ago, and it looks to me like just visually seeing the distance on the racetrack, it's still about the same gap.
That's what Tim Steele is seeing out the front of his car. That's actually the roof camera. No one is on the roof, unfortunately, except our camera, but you can see ahead. That's the front threesome we're looking at there. There is the Tim Steele HS die machine. And here's the battle you were talking about, Benny, back for 13th spot.
Still struggling, and we're about to lose a spot. The 99 car closes up right and goes by on the outside. Jeff Finley goes by straight.
Finley driving the B.R. DeWitt on car number 99, the short track ace from here in Lansing, Michigan. The Heights Auto Parts Ford, Ray and Diane DeWitt on that car number 99 for Finley.
Ray DeWitt is from Lansing, Michigan originally. Lives down in the Charlotte area of North Carolina now.
You see Straight's car, Finley just got by Bob Strait there, but the number 21 car still has that old red and white paint scheme. All their cars now are black with a day glow number on it, except this one. And Jack didn't want to bring this race car, but he said, we didn't have time to paint it, but we are going to race it.
You see what happens when these cars try to run side by side, how they just slow down. The 99 car had a great run, Finley, but he tried to run side by side with Streeter. Both those cars lost distance to the 21 car. And here comes Dave Blaney. That guy stopped and changed 2 tires. That was very wise.
Well, he put left side tires on, Benny, and added fuel. We'll have to see how that plays out, but Blaney making his way back up through the field.
He goes by Finley, and that poses in on the back bumper of Strait.
34-year-old Dave Blaney. Buckeye Bullet. Portland, Ohio, 1995 World of Outlaw titleist. A very, very busy man here this weekend. Let's take a look at some of the open wheelers who are with us today. Doug Coletta, the car number 7, former USAC champion. He has already called it today. Tom Bigelow, USAC Sprint Car Hall of Famer. He's also had problems. Rick Harrell, the 2-time ARCA Midget Series champion. Dave Blaney, we're just talking about there, the 1995 World Outlaws champ. And Jimmy McCune, over 20 midget victories in USAC competition. Those guys competing in ARCA today.
And Dave Blaney almost lost the 80 cars. He came off that corner that time. We saw him go off the second corner. The car almost jumped out from under him. And Finley, the 99 car, will drive by.
Well, you mentioned earlier, Benny, that he won the World of Outlaws race last night. Tonight, he's going to go down to Eldora. And then tomorrow night, he races at I-96 Speedway. So through a lot of racing in one weekend.
Well, Kyle Petty has caught up with one of our early cars that had to call it a day. Kyle?
Yeah, I'm here with Kirk Chevrolet. I talked to him before the race started. He said they had some motor trouble. He didn't get a lot of practice. Just going to bide his time through the first half of the race, make some adjustments, and be there for the second. You put together a lot of winners up here. What happened to this thing?
Well, I think we lost a bearing. I lost oil pressure all of a sudden and smelled it and felt it and just came in the garage, wasn't used to try to keep going. I feel sorry for our guys. They've really been working hard on this engine stuff, and it's just not getting it done. We've been buying used parts from the big teams, you know, and trying to put it together, and it doesn't work. You gotta pay if you want to play, so we're gonna have to change the game plan a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you guys something. He found a sponsor for this, Jackaroo, and he's looking for some. So if anybody out there wants to send him some money, send him some so he can come back, guys.
Interesting about Kirk Shelverton. A lot of people talking about him, maybe a veteran crew chief going to some of the Winston Cup teams because of the big money he's being paid as a crew chief. I talked to him, Benny, you talked to him. He said, hey, I want to drive.
Exactly. He said, at least I don't have much of a life now, but I got a life.
All right, Mark Thompson's our leader. Leader's pit stop should be coming up very shortly. We'll follow that and more when we come back to Michigan Speedway. They're back. The 1997 X Games from San Diego, California. The excitement all begins June 20th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. It's 8 days of pure pandemonium. Watch as over 400 of the world's best extreme athletes compete on bikes, blades, boards, and much more. Remember, there are no limits at the X Games.
And we got a new leader. Harry Tripp has taken over the lead from Mark Thompson. And I tell you what, Thompson, don't look in the mirror because Jimmy Kitchen, there he is. Look. And looks like Kitchens is going to take over that second spot.
Gotta wonder if Mark Thompson isn't thinking a little bit about fuel mileage. He said he would like to be able to make it on one stop. He has one of those Ford engines that everyone was talking about would be questionable. He said if he really played it smart, he possibly could make it to lap 49, where others thought lap 44 or 45 would be a reach.
Well, Doc, just a little bit ago, you had mentioned that Mark Thompson had only led 8 laps here at Michigan. Well, Harry Tripp, he only led 13 coming into this race, and Frank Kimmel is now going to the pits.
There's our points leader, Kimmel down, the Larry Clement on machine, and Bill Weber is there.
This will be 2 right side tires and fuel. They're going to check the lefts to make sure they're okay. Frank told me on the starting grid for the race that they didn't think they could get more than 42. They're going to have to change air guns on the front right. They had an air gun problem. They've got a second gun over there now, actually a third one. You got the one they used on the rear. The fuel is in now. The air gun cord is caught under the left front tire. He's going to have to pulls away, and Tim Steele's also on pit road. So Steele now in. They go around to the right side, put the fuel in for Steele. He's been very patient. They will make a wedge adjustment to his car. So his Ford jacked up on the right side tires going on, fuel still going in. Steele's gonna take 4 tires here with 41 laps gone by. They crank a couple of rounds of wedge, make the chassis adjustment, slapping on the left side, Hoosier tires, full of fuel, now waiting on the left rear. Steele is down and away, returns to the race. So Kimmel and Steele, the 2 leaders that pit first.
Now we know neither one of those guys can make it all the way, Benny. Others come drifting down. 50 laps is halfway. They pitted on lap 41, so Steele made quite an adjustment. There is the leader, Perry Tripp, with the SB2 Childress small block Chevrolet engine.
And we saw Frank Kimmel, and folks, you might have seen me illustrate the left front tire on Kimmel's car. The reason the air gun wouldn't work, he was sitting on the air. The left front tire was sitting on the air hose, choking off the air supply to the gun.
Danny Pardis coming down pit road. He's one of the rookie drivers in the pits for his routine stop at lap 43. As you're watching the leaders, Tripp the leader. Car number 47 is Jimmy Kitchens from Houghton, Alabama, in second spot in a Ford.
Jeff Streeter made a pit stop, changed 4 tires, looks like. Oh, the ARCA official said stop. There's something wrong with the right rear. The ARCA official walked back. Well, the ARCA official is talking to the crew members. Now they decide to push it backwards instead of forwards.
Oh, boy. Tough break.
Well, the right rear tire at the 17 is in Mike Cicchetti in for his service. Right side tires on the Hughes supply machine for Cicchetti. And Kyle is there. Kyle?
They're changing right side tires and making a wedge adjustment on the right rear. Had a little trouble with that. He was helping the guy on the right rear and left the wedge wrench in for a few minutes. They come around, change left side. Pretty standard pit stop. Everything seems. Oh, the tire's rolling away across pit road. Left front tire's going across pit road. Seems pretty standard pit stop. Having a little trouble on the left front. He's down. He's going to be gone.
All right, he's down and away. We might mention that Jeff Streeter has now exited the pits. Had a problem with the lug nuts on the right rear tire. That's what the ARCA official so wisely saw down there and made him back up before the young man went down pit road.
Ed Barrier's in the pits, Bill Weber.
He's already got 2 right side tires working on the left side. Plenty of fuel already in. It's taking a long time. They're very disappointed with their time, but Barrier sits on pit road. Now the lugs are on. Now they're going to hold him. So either too many men over the wall or too fast down pit road for Ed Barrier. This will cost him 10 to 15 seconds. Disappointing. Good qualifying run. Was on the lead lap.
Bill, I see you there. Just roll over and ask that official what that was all about. Let's see Mark Gibson in the pits. Right side's going on. Cal Penny.
Mark Gibson had a little bit of a moment coming in the pits. 2 pits up, there was some guys just walking out in the middle of pit road with his back turned to him, picking up lug nuts. He had to weave. He got in his pit a little hot, slid in here. Standard pit stop. They changed rights. They're having a little trouble with the left rear. Can't get to go on. He let go of the brake a little bit. He's pretty much down and gone.
And now behind him, Blaze Alexander gets his car stalled in the pits. Typical of the kind of year Blaze had in his sophomore season after winning Rookie of the Year a year ago. Behind them is the car number 88, that's Jimmy McCune. He gets right side service as now Blaze gets his car refired and heads down pit road. Still waiting for Perry Tripp to make an entry on the pit road, and Jimmy Kitchens, as well as Mark Thompson. Apparently they are going to try to make it to halfway.
They're going to try to make it to halfway, and I knew Weber would find the answer out. Too many men across the wall for Ed Barrier. That's why he was held. I'm glad this is a time, and I'm glad we have computerized scoring because I'm lost as an Easter egg.
Well, what the question now becomes, though, is what is Perry Tripp's strategy going to be in comparison to the rest of these drivers? It's got to be going through your mind to think they all came in at 41, 42, and 43, and he's still out there.
He's still going, and Jimmy Kitchens right on his bumper. They just put a lap on Bob Straight.
What about it, Bill Weber?
Perry Tripp hoping to get to lap 50. They want to go halfway. He had a great fuel mileage run here a year ago, so they think they can get to halfway. It'll be 4 tires, and every drop of fuel they can get in the back of that car.
And Bill, he told me at Charlotte with this SB2 out of Richard Childress' shops that he ran 100 miles and came in and still had 7 gallons of fuel in the tank. That engine was not only powerful, but very, very efficient. They got to go 2 laps, Benny, and they'll make it.
Looks like Jimmy Kitchens trying to take a look on the inside. Some of our reporters are saying that Kitchens may come in the pits this time. That caution's out. There was a crash up between 3 and 4 right in front of the leaders. Streeter has hit the wall with the left side. Looks like some pretty severe damage to the car.
Well, the young 17-year-old from California, Jeff Streeter, has brought out the caution for the second time. Heavy impact and a fire beneath the hood.
Pretty good fire. We see Streeter now saying, oh, I better get out of this thing. Evidently, he's broken a fuel pump or a gas line or something, or oil is caught on fire. We see him moving around. Okay, the window net goes down, and let's take his helmet off. Jeff, he's trying to get his straps and everything undone.
Well, he needs to be a little more precipitous about it. There's the cars coming by, and the safety crews are on their way. The fire truck is on the inside of the track down below him, but he can't move until the cars come by. There's the fire truck down on the very bottom of the racetrack, just a little bit to the right of the car. And now there are still cars coming by. He cannot get up on the track until these cars get by.
I think his spotter was telling him to stay in there because of the cars. Donnie Epton, we talked to him just before the race today, said he was spotting for the Streeter kid, and I think he was saying stay in the car until the other cars go by. Now all the cars, the safety truck is out there to try to put the fire out, and now Streeter does climb out.
And now he is out and away from that Ford Thunder. He's only his 6th ARCA start, coming off his best ever finish last week at Pocono. He finished 9th, 7th.
What a priceless shot that is.
He says,
wow, he said.
Man,
like, wow.
Yeah, like wow. I'm from California.
That's a real hot foot for you.
Well, fortunately, he is out and away, and none the worse for wear, but we're under caution for the second time here today at Michigan Speedway. Halfway, back in a moment. Back at Michigan Speedway, Jimmy Kitchens, the car number 47, apparently has run out of fuel. The caution coming out on lap 49 as they were getting ready to make their entry on the pit road to pit at halfway.
And the leader's out of pit. Perry Tripp is out of gas. Perry Tripp is out of gas coming off the 4th corner. I don't know if he'll be able to make it back. There you see him on the bottom.
Now, pit road just came open.
Bill Weber.
Benny, he called his crew and said, it's dead. It's just dead. They told him to wiggle the car back and forth. Perry Tripp, it's not helping. He said the car's just dead. Kyle Petty.
The 47 car radioed right in and said, I'm out of gas. There's nothing I can do. That was coming out of turn 2. The 21 car pitted on the wrong lap because he was out of gas. Comes to find out, even though he's got to go to the end of the longest line, he may have been the smartest guy that was running at the front of this pack.
And Kyle, now he's getting an assist from David Frog Hall, a 51, pushing the 6 of Perry Tripp in. And the worst possible case scenario, the caution coming out on lap 49. Let's go back to Bill Weber.
And the crew here has the pit board out. They're waiting for the 6 car to be pushed all the way down pit road. And to just make this problem even worse, Perry Tripp pits all the way at the turn 1 end of pit road. And this is one of the longest pit roads you can find for a 2-mile track. So Tripp trying to creep down here to his stall. The crew is waiting, talking to him on the radio. But so far, Perry Tripp still limping this way. We can see him. He's 3 stalls away. He's going to have to get around that barrier. Be careful here. And he slowly just creeps into his stall. So Tripp is here. The car is not running. They pour in fuel. This was going to be 4 tires. They've got the ether, spraying it under the hood, into the air cleaner, into the carburetor. He's got it fired, but it doesn't stay. It stalls again. They spray again. He fires it again. They've got a little bit of fuel in there, and they stop. I don't know why they stopped. They want to get it back out, obviously, as quickly as possible. And they did that, and he'll be back for tires and a lot more gas, but high hopes and great disappointment now for Perry Tripp.
And Jimmy Kitchens has been lapped on the racetrack.
Well, let's sort of reset what happened here just a few moments ago. The car number 20 of Jeff Streeter, the car number 20 of Jeff Streeter, there's the car 20, apparently erupts an engine, hits the wall, brings the caution out on lap 49. That's 1 lap shy of halfway when the cars number 6, 47, and 66 were waiting to come down and pit that time by. When the caution came out, the ARCA officials closed pit road. They couldn't pit. So the caution comes out, and now the 47 of Kitchens runs out of fuel, coasts down the backstretch, and is now 1 lap down. Let's check in Kitchens' pits with Kyle Petty.
I tell you what, when he radioed in and told him that he was out of gas coming out of 2, every one of them, all heads instantly went down like they were praying. They've been standing here in stunned silence. They didn't know who to go get, who to do anything. They acted like they had never seen anything like this. Bobby Allison's been helping them in the pits. He was the only one that just has seen everything happen at least once in his lifetime. He knew what to do, and he tried to get somebody to go do him, to go push him in, but by that time it was too late. The pack was already in turn 3 and 4, and he was left behind.
Now they realize that the wrecker is pushing the car in. They'll be there in just a moment. There we see. Man, what a...
Yeah, and you know what, Benny? Guess who our leader is going to be?
I got no idea.
Dave Blaney is going to be the leader because all these cars have come into the pit area, and Blaney now will resume the lead, although he pitted on lap 10.
He better pit.
So he'll need to come back in and pop off with fuel if he's going to make it the rest of the way. They can only make it about 45 laps. There comes Jimmy Kitchens. You heard Kyle talk about Bobby Allison in the pits. They bought this car from Bobby Allison Motorsports. This was the car Derek Cope drove at Atlanta last November. A former Winston Cup car. Now Grady Humphries and the crew preparing it for Jimmy Kitchens, who is having a great run as a rookie competitor here at Michigan Speedway. Kyle, he's headed towards you.
Well, they've got the ether ready. There's about 10 or 15 guys here. The crew chief said, okay, I need pushers. Who's going to push? 7 of them raised their hand. Those are the only 7 that are allowed to go over the wall. Hey, there's nothing quieter than a car coming in here that's not running. They decided they were going to splash this thing, put a splash in it, shoot some ether to it, crank it up, get him caught up, then come back in and go through the normal routine. The problem is this, a lot of times when they burn out, you jam the ether to them, you'll burn a piston and a heartbeat on it. They're going to start to try to push him off right now. They're pushing him down pit road, shooting ether at the same time. These guys want this so bad they can taste it. They're out of sight. They're coming down towards you, Weber.
I think they put enough ether in that thing. Like Kyle Petty said, that ether builds the compression unbelievably. So if they aren't careful, they're going to blow the engine with the ether.
Well, it's extremely volatile,
there she
very
goes.
explosive, and it finally does fire. So he has lost a lap on the track, comes in and gets it full of fuel. And even from here, they might be able they should be able to make it worse there. Only 46 or 47 laps, considering the caution laps here. There is the car 47 back on the racetrack, Jimmy Kitchens. What a tough break for the lead threesome, although Mark Thompson was able to make it down pit road. We didn't mention that he came in and got his tank topped off. And Perry Tripp is coming back toward you, Bill Weber. Why?
Now, they only got enough fuel to get back out. He didn't want to lose a lap. Then he used the next lap to catch up to the field. Now he's back for what was hoping to be the original routine pit stop. This will be 4 Hoosier tires, and they'll fill the tank full of fuel. Very disappointing. Perry Tripp thought he had a good shot here. I talked to him on the grid before the start of the race. They were going to try and get to halfway, and they did. Now they're big, but he ran out of fuel while that caution was out. So he got the push from David Hall. Now he's come back in for his routine stop, trying to get the front left tire off, having trouble with one of the lug nuts. Now they've got the left tire off to put on the new one. He'll have 4 fresh tires and fuel. He'll have to find a little enthusiasm, might have a little anger to stir that with when he goes back out on the track. Cars down, Perry Tripp's on his way.
Well, with all this unfolding, our leader is this guy, 34-year-old Dave Blaney, the 1995 World of Outlaws titleist and former USAC Silver Crown champion. In only his 5th start in 1997, he shows the way at 53 laps complete here at Michigan Speedway. Back with more in a moment. Back at Michigan Speedway, the good news, the cleanup ongoing, and the driver up there involved, Jeff Streeter, was uninjured. The bad news was, well, the fire that erupted beneath his Ford has burned a section of the asphalt. There are the safety crews up there looking and working in some of this Michigan Speedway. Crew are up there taking a look and to see exactly what has happened to the racetrack. These shots from high above Michigan Speedway, courtesy of the folks at the Bud One Airship, which reminds you that fresh beer tastes better. There's the Bud One Airship, flying high above this 1,000-acre complex, Michigan Speedway, here in the Irish Hills, about an hour or so from Detroit.
And as you see those black marks, that's not Jeff Streeter's black marks. You see all those black marks there? Guess who made those this morning, folks? Jeff Gordon, Jeff Burton, and Dick Trickle. This morning here at Michigan International Speedway, early morning practice. Jeff Gordon lost control of DuPont Chevy up in that corner, hit the wall, and with him took Jeff Burton and Dick Trickle. I think all drivers are okay. Well, I say okay. Jeff Burton did go to the foot hospital here in Jackson for some observations.
I don't believe, maybe you know more than I do on his situation here.
Well, I think they were going to X-ray, do a chest X-ray and an X-ray of his right shoulder, but that's exactly where that incident occurred. Is at about 9:15 this morning, as you're watching the cleanup in the red flag situation here in the ARCA race at Michigan. But about 9:15 this morning, Jeff Gordon driving inside of Earnhardt, slid sideways, and as you said, Benny, Jeff Burton and Dick Trickle involved. Here's the field summary right now as we are just past the halfway point, 54 laps complete. Mark Thompson being shown as the leader. Perry Tripp, Dave Blaney a moment ago, by virtue of the early pit stop, was being shown as the leader. They've now resorted everything out, the scoring, and Thompson, Tripp, and Blaney with Steele in fourth and Mark Gibson in fifth overall.
And we see Blaze Alexander, Bob Strait. Those are the 7 cars in the lead. Lapton, Kimmel, Morgan, Hill, Kitchens. What a tough break for Jimmy Kitchens. And we see 16 through 30. And we see that Jeff Streeter, Drew White, the 98 car, and Kurt Sherman, all those cars out of the competition this afternoon. And we now go back 31 through 36, all those cars out of the competition. Rick Shepard, the 12 car, tough break for him, picked up a new sponsor, the Collex people, the bump shop people out of Detroit. But Shepard did not get on TV today to do something for them.
But they have big plans for 1998 with Rick Shepard. Now, there are the cars lined up on pit road under a red flag situation with ARCA. Now, we told you this morning at 9:15 the 3 cars that were involved and pretty heavily damaged. Probably the most serious of those might have been the car number 99. Let's check in with Bill Weber.
Well, Jerry, haven't talked to the crew, obviously, since the beginning of the ARCA race, but the word out of the garage after the second round of qualifying this morning was that Morgan Shepard would practice the X-Side Ford in happy hour this afternoon for Jeff Burton. Shepard failed to make the field in the 77 Jasper Engines car, so he will practice the 99 car for Jeff Burton in happy hour, pending the results of those X-rays that Jeff was going to get that you were talking about earlier.
All right, so that's the update. Thank you, Bill, on Jeff Burton. And there is Gary Nelson, along with the track officials here. They have put a cold, or I should say a warm tar and pavement patch over that abrasive area that burned or melted. Now they're trying to put some soap and try to cool it down. As Gary Nelson, right of your screen there, talking to the officials from Michigan Speedway.
We saw Gary with a knife or something there. And he's too bad he wasn't calling us on the radio to tell us what's going on.
Talking about the top 10 starters for tomorrow's Miller 400. Dale Jarrett picks up his first ever Busch pole at Michigan Speedway, his second of the year. And how about Joe Nemechek with great qualifying effort? And while we're talking about Joe, how about a congratulations to him and Andrea Nemechek on the birth of their first child, John Hunter Nemechek, on Wednesday afternoon. Everyone in the crew said Joe is giddy like a little teenager running around saying, look at my pictures. And boy, it paid off well in qualifying. He starts second, Craven third, Sterling Marlin fourth, Ted Musgrave fifth, and Benny, some surprises in the top 10.
Yeah, Dallenbach, Benson, both those surprises. Actually, Bobby Labonte, Jeff Burton now qualified ninth. He will have to go to the back in a backup car. And Jimmy Spencer, a great qualifying.
All right, we're under a red flag situation here on lap 54 at Michigan Speedway. We're continuing up in turn 4. Great crowd on hand. Back with more in a moment. Back at Michigan Speedway here in Brooklyn, Michigan. Beautiful shot from high atop this 2-mile facility and in the Irish Hills of Michigan. Beautifully manicured lawns and grasses, and just a great family-friendly place to come watch a race. Wide turns, wide sweeping turns, D-shaped oval.
And that's what they're watching. The Jasper Engines 200 here at the Michigan International Speedway.
And coming up next week at the sister track in Fontana, California, will debut Friday with NASCAR Winston Cup qualifying live at 4 p.m. Eastern time on the Deuce. And on Saturday, NASCAR Winston West, the AAA 200 at 3 p.m. Eastern on ABC Sports, a sister station. And of course, NASCAR Winston Cup happy hour, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN2. And then next Sunday, a special 1 hour. It's a 1 hour NASCAR Today at 1 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. And then our live flag-to-flag coverage on ABC Sports and NASCAR Winston Cup California 500 presented by Napa. That's live at 2 p.m. Eastern time from California Speedway. You like truck racing, dash racing? All Pro, will we go to Bristol, Tennessee next Friday. NASCAR Goodies Dash 150 live, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time on the Deuce. Then next Saturday, Benny Trucks, the NASCAR Trucks Load Handler 200 live, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Then at 10 o'clock Eastern time, NASCAR All Pro Pep Boys 200.
Man, I'll never be able to watch all this stuff and do my work.
And we're not done yet. How about Portland, Oregon, baby?
No.
Next Saturday, kart pole qualifying, 8 o'clock Eastern time. They get it on in Portland on ESPN2. Then Sunday, kart on the grid, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time with the Deuce. And then live at 5 o'clock Eastern, the kart Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200 on ESPN. The Deuce, ESPN, ABC Sports. You can't ask for more live coverage than that.
Well, we got a little problem there. You see the racetrack. That spot right there appears to be where the racetrack has burned away. Jeff Streeter crashed up in the corner, and something, I don't know, oil or gasoline got on the exhaust system, the headers, and caused a fire. And evidently that fire has, we think, burned some of the pavement away. And Jeff Streeter, he's okay, isn't he, Kyle Petty?
I'm standing here right beside Jeff Streeter. His car doesn't look too good. I can tell you that right now. I don't believe I've seen a car burn up this bad in a long, long time. He got a little hot. Obviously, he's pulled his uniform down around his waist so he could cool off a little bit. What happened going into 3 over there?
I don't know. It just felt like something unhooked. The car just went around and into the wall I went.
You hit a ton with the left side of the car. The inside of the car seems to held up pretty good. The Lexan windshield's melted, all the wiring's melted. I'm looking down in there and all the belts are burned off of it. Everything's burned off of it. What caught on fire on your car after you got there? Did you bust I guess a fuel pump, or did an oil line come off, or what seems caught on fire there?
I think it oil hit the oil cooler and lost some oil, and then hit the engine, and that caught on fire. And then just started burning. The tire caught on fire. Windshield started melting. I was just kind of worried that they weren't going to get there in time, but they got there.
Well, Benny and all these guys in the booth were pulling for you to get out, and they said, you're in, you're out, you're in, you're out. And then finally everybody went by, and there was enough room, and it was safe for you to get out and get gone. Did you take a look at the racetrack before they pulled you off? They've red flagged the race because of the accident that you had up there. Did you look at the racetrack? Is the racetrack torn up, or is it burned up under there? What did it look like?
It didn't look like it was burnt up or anything. The car, when the tire blew up, kind of hit the ground and drug a little bit, and I think that might have been what caused the hole in the track up there. But other than that, I don't think the burn-in did anything to it.
Okay, well, Roger Penske will send you a bill if it did, so don't worry about it. All right, man?
Hey, Kyle.
Yeah, man.
Ask Jeff if the spotter was telling him to stay in the car until all the traffic got by.
Benny wants to know, they were talking about you being in the car and then trying to get out with the car being on fire and stuff, and then you sat there for a few minutes. Was the spotter telling you to stay in the car and wait until all the traffic went by?
Yeah, that's what he's telling me. He's telling me to stay in the car until they got there, and then he told me to stay in the car until all the cars went by, and that's what I did.
He's a good man. He listens to a spotter. I'm telling you something, Benny. If my car's on fire, I'm coming out. I ain't listening to nobody.
That's right. You might want to tell him, Kyle, when you see flames, just unhook the radio and climb out. 17-year-old Jeff Streeter is a junior in high school at Brawley Union High School in Southern California. Boy, will he have a tale to tell when he gets back to Southern California. Back in a moment. Our ESPN Speed World coverage of the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series Jasper Engines 200 from Michigan Speedway is being brought to you by Daytona USA, the ultimate motorsports attraction. High atop Michigan Speedway, great crowd on hand, good crowd, maybe a record for an ARCA event, and there are the cars that are red flagged on pit road, and you see the car number 80, that's Dave Blaney at the right side of your screen. Benny, he is being shown on the lead lap, but it's a little more difficult than that.
Well, we're going to show you in a minute. We're going to get this wide shot. Just a minute. In a second, we're going to... Ned Jarrett straightened me out here. I said, this ain't right, but Ned said, it is right. Oh, stop right there. Oh, man, those directors never listen to me. They always just go off and do their own thing.
Well, Mark Thompson, the number 66 car, is the leader. There is the midway. Thank you, Dennis. There's Mark Thompson, our leader. Go ahead, Benny.
Now, right here, this guy's the leader. Now, take the camera back this way. There we go. There we go. No, the other way, Dennis. That way. There you see, that car is on the tail end of the lead lap. He is now in 7th spot. All those cars in front of Thompson, a lot of those cars are on the tail end of the lead lap. If he goes by them, they become a lap down.
So Mark Thompson is our leader. Perry Tripp in 2nd. 3rd being shown the Dave Blaney car, which is way up toward the front of that line, the right side of your screen. So those cars are on the tail end of the lead lap. Only the 66 and the 6 are actually going to be involved in nose to tail.
And also, guys, if you look forward ahead of Mark Thompson, you see the 16 car of Tim Steele. But remember, he pitted on lap 41. There's Steele in the HS Dye Simlink Ford. He's got to come in for fuel, and he's going to do that probably soon as we go back get out of under this red flag situation.
And so does Dave Blaney.
Yeah.
He's going to have to pit because he stopped on lap 10 or something.
Lap 10, exactly. He'll have to come back in. So we'll unravel it here. And why are we sitting here under the red flag? If you just joined us, they just given the signal to refire them, and that's good news. So we'll get the last 46 laps of this race underway. Is that just a little bit ago, we had an incident up in turn 3 involving the car number 20 of Jeff Streeter. His car erupting. You heard Kyle Petty talk to Jeff Streeter, who was okay, but a scary moment of fire in the front of the car, and they had to fix the racetrack up in turns 3 and 4. Great crowd on hand. I talked to the folks here at Michigan early in the week. They said they had a crowd of about 80,000 here last year, and we are told it's right at 80,000 today. What a great crowd for ARCA competition on hand here under just beautiful clear skies, about 70 degrees, gorgeous weather as they're getting ready for more racing action, and so are they in the pits. Let's go to Bill Weber.
And I'm with Dale Perry, who's the crew chief for Perry Tripp, and he's just talking to his driver. First of all, obviously, tremendous disappointment when you ran out of fuel.
Well, you know, you got to take these gambles, and we knew it would be close. Really didn't expect to run clear out, but it all worked out well. So we're leading at the halfway point, which we looked at, but really wasn't real concerned about. And but the way it turned out, I think we'll be all right.
You got your work cut out for you now. You got a lot of work to do now with your track position.
Well, more so the driver. We're done in here. We're just going to cheer him on.
Okay, that's the story down here. Let's go to Kyle Petty.
Standing here in Dave Blaney's pit, they did pit early, and it was going to be a strategy if the race goes green. Anytime a race is red flag, you throw the strategy out the window. Now it's race number 2. This is like the truck series. They just had a halftime right here. These guys are going to pit as soon as the racetrack goes green, as soon as pit road is opened up under this caution. They're going to come down pit road, service, and they say they can go the rest of the way.
Well, you know, it worked out great for Perry Tripp. It worked out, and Blaze Alexander, we saw him stall his car when he made that pit stop that the crew pushed him off. Well, right now he's sitting there and the car will not start. Where's the record? Bring me a record. There we go.
There we go. Typical of the kind of year Blaze was having after winning Rookie of the Year a year ago. Has had trouble even finishing a race here in 1997. Told me he hadn't finished a race yet, and they've run 6 times already.
Looks like the record's having trouble.
They were just creeping up there to make sure they didn't crimp the back of that car with these speeds, and aerodynamics so important. Now they got him going. There is the leader, Mark Thompson.
You know, the crew chief on Perry Tripp's car said, well, everything worked out just fine. But one guy, it didn't work out just fine. Jimmy Kitchens. I mean, here's a guy that was running. Let me try to talk to him. See if he... Jimmy Kitchens, this is Benny Parsons. You got me? Jimmy Kitchens, Benny Parsons. You read me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Benny.
Well, I'll be talking to the crew.
Go ahead, Benny.
Jimmy, Benny Parsons, do you read me?
That's a 10-4, Benny. Go ahead, buddy. I got you.
They didn't give you any sharp objects when you made that pit stop, did they?
Back on that.
I'm telling you what, I was trying to make a joke, but you guys, I'm sure right now, got to be so frustrated. Ran out of gas a half lap away and could not get back to the pits.
I tell you, I really tried to let her coast on in, and she was just dead. So that's one of the breaks. We're going to have to see what we got. We've got a real good race car, and I think we can get back to the front.
You're lapped down. You got to get back in front of those guys and hope for a caution flag.
That's a 10-4. We're going to get us 4 new ones here and see what we can do with them.
All right, Dave Blaney on pit road. We told you he would come in. He's right in front of you, Kyle Petty.
He's come in. They've changed right side tires and put the right side tires on and gas. The catch cam man threw the wedge wrench across to the other side of the car. When the guy stood up, he just put 2 rounds of wedge in it. The jack guy comes around, jacks the left side of the car. Pretty standard pit stop. They think that they can get back up there and race now. Obviously, Blaney won last night. He'd like to make it 2 days in a row, or within the last 12 hours anyhow, the way those dirt guys run and the way they run that stuff. He's off, he's gone.
Oh, he's lucky the guy changing the right rear didn't stand up at the wrong time. He'd have put 2 rounds of wedge in his forehead with that wrench. He's tossed it across the wall. Still seeing pit work completing. There is Jimmy Kitchens. You heard Benny talk to just a moment ago. What a great run that young man had early on. He will definitely be a factor down the road in more ARCA events.
Looks like Frog Hall is going to come in the pits. See that pit board there? That's got to be Frog's board.
Frog Hall, who has a radio show out in Kansas City, Frog and Friends, an automotive repair show.
Jimmy Kitchens said he's going to put 4 on, see what he's got for him. Well, he's got the 4. We'll see.
All right. right, after a 15-minute and 13-second red flag, we're going to get ready for green flag racing action again at Michigan Speedway when we come back. Coming up later today, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Wide World of Sports. Valvoline Professional Boxing Series Light Heavyweight World Championship. Virgil Hill taking on Darius Michalczewski from the Centro in Oberhausen, Germany. Wide World of Sports. WBA, WBO Light Heavyweight World Championships coming your way. Well, we're going to settle it here in Michigan. Also coming your way, the green flag.
Kimmel, 59 car, Mark Gibson, all three of those cars trying to stay in front of Mark Thompson. There comes the 66 car, the black car, fourth in line is Thompson.
Well, folks, we're used to seeing this. Tim Steele out front, but he is not the leader. He's trying to stay on the lead lap.
I gotta wonder why he did not to come in and top the tank off on that when he gave him one to go,
Bill Weber, tell us, Bill Weber.
Well, they couldn't pit because that would have taken them off the lead lap. So they wanted to stay out, stay at the tail end of the lead lap. They're desperately hoping for a caution so those guys can come around and get behind Mark Thompson. Now, Steele pitted on lap 42. They had 2 more laps of fuel left in the car. He can only go 44 total laps. No way can he reach the finish, and no way could he have pitted right then before the green came back out.
So that's exactly why, because of being in front of the leader. Had he pitted, even under caution, he would have gone a lap down because they'd have restarted with him a lap down, and he'd have had to pass Mark Thompson to get back on the lead lap.
Well, we talked about the fuel disparity between the Fords and the Chevrolets, but Perry Tripp almost made it 50 laps. They ran out of fuel on the 50th lap. Steele can only go 44. That's a big difference.
Riding along on the roof cam with Mark Thompson. The hood of that car celebrating the 50th anniversary of the U.S. Air Force. Right in front of him is Mark Gibson's car number 59. Now he is the last car on the lead lap in 5th spot.
And talk about the 50th anniversary of the Air Force in Charlotte. The races there, Mark Thompson, that's a lot of the Air Force brass with him at the racetrack. Met some generals, and they were really excited about having the name of the Air Force on the middle of this racetrack.
And that's great having it today, especially with today being Flag Day.
Ray knows everything, don't he?
Well, one of the flags we didn't want to see today, Ray, was the red flag, which we saw for 15 minutes and 13 seconds due to an incident up in turn 3 that had to require some asphalt repair.
That red flag might have cost me and you, Jerry Punch, an airplane ride back to Charlotte tonight.
Might possibly, BP.
Anyway, Thompson, I guess right now he's just biding his time. He's not going up there trying to put these guys a lap down. Probably the wisest thing to do, hoping there will not be a caution flag, because there's no way in the world they're going to make up 2 laps on this guy. And there we see the 6 cars running in 2nd spot. There's Perry Tripp.
And Kitchens, Benny, the 47 back there running in 7th position. They came in and put those 4 tires on and still going well into the top 10. And if he gets by the 11 car, the yellow car right side of your screen, at his 4th position, that'll put him in 6th spot as the first car 1 lap down. Our Autos on Race Recap, the leader is Mark Thompson, has led 50 of 61 laps. There have been 2 lead changes, 2 cautions for a total of 13 laps. The average speed 98.800 miles per hour. Our leaders, Mark Thompson, 50 laps. Perry Tripp, who started on the outside of the front row, has led 11 laps.
Right, Jimmy Kitchens took a look on the outside, but there goes Tripp on the inside of Glenn Morgan, the 11 car. The yellow 11 is Glenn Morgan. He goes by. Jimmy Kitchens goes by.
Well, folks, Bill Weber told us that these cars that are up front are looking for a caution flag, but they really don't want to see it right now. They want to see lap 75 come up on the board, because at that point you're inside the 25 lap rule, and that means only lead lap cars will restart on the outside. If the caution comes out right now and they pit, they're going to be at the tail end of the longest line and have a long way to go to try to catch Mark Thompson.
All right, that would be 13 laps away, working lap 62 right now of 100, which comprises 200-mile event, the Jasper Engines 200. There's Mark Gibson, the red, white, number 59, right side of your screen. Bud 1 airship down, and there's Mark Thompson, the black and white number 166.
And Mark Thompson and Barry Tripp, the 6 car, are running about the same speed. The last time by they ran almost identical times. And there's Tim Steele as he tries to stay out there, as Ray Dunlap has talked about, trying to stay in the lead lap, hoping a caution flag comes out. Now you're riding along with Tim Steele.
Won this race here last July. The defending and two-time ARCA Series champion started way back in 26th position. If you just joined us, he had a problem in qualifying on Thursday. Backed it in the wall in turn 3. Had to go into second round qualifying after Tom Sokolowski and the guys were repaired the back of the car. And you see today he has got to lead a lap, but boy, did he come from the back toward the front in a hurry. All the way up to third on lap 63.
And that really is a surprise, Jerry, because he's the all-time super speedway lap leader in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series with 1,345 laps led, but 0 today at Michigan.
And I guess you think Ray Dunlap looked that up, folks. He had it right on the top of his head.
Mr. Encyclopedia. They're the lap leaders, ARCA Michigan lap leaders. Tim Steele coming into the day. Jeff Purvis, who won 3 times here. Joe Ruttman, who won here back in 1980. Bob Keselowski, now a regular on the Craftsman Truck Series. And Bob Schack led 68 laps here at Michigan.
And after today, Jerry, Mark Thompson will move on to that list, having already led 50 laps and coming in here with 8 laps led before this race started today.
Tim Steele, you're riding along on the roof cam, the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series roof camera for the third place car at Michigan Speedway. Laps are winding down. Less than 35 remain here in the Jasper Engines 200. Mark Thompson is our leader. Back at Michigan Speedway, battle for 9th position. The car number 21 of Bob Strait is in 9th spot. Behind him, Dave Blaney, a pair of Ford Thunderbirds. Strait, a 13-time winner in ARCA competition. In fact, second winningest active driver in ARCA right now. And Blaney, running only his 5th race in 1997, is going to give him a run for his money.
He's trying to get on the inside, trying his best. Not able to do it. He will pull back in, follow Bob Strait into turn 1. Again, the best place to pass at Michigan International Speedway is coming off the corner. Down in 1 and 2. Now try to drive under the 21 car, accelerate off, and get position in going in turn 3. That's the best way to pass. Let's see if Blaney can pull it off. No, the 21 car pulls him down the backstretch. Hang on to that 9th spot.
Zinsser Paints, a sponsorship on Bob Strait's number 21. Of course, they finished second in Salem earlier this year on the High Banked Half Mile. Guess who won that day? Tim Steele.
How about that? And Blaney had a 5th place finish this year thus far last week at Pocono. Had a 12th at Atlanta, 11th at Charlotte. It was his best finish in his first start in Atlanta back in '95. He finished 3rd. You're watching the battle 9th and 10th because Mark Thompson is our leader. Barry Tripp in 2nd. Tim Steele trying to hang on and possibly get to lap 75 or past, and then get a caution for that final gas and go.
But we do know for a fact that if no caution comes out, Steele's going to have to pit. He can only make it to around, I think Bill Weber said, lap 84.
Now Blaney makes a move, Benny.
Looks like he's got that spot as they charge down the backstretch. 17 car, Mike Giacchetti behind them, is flat down to these 2 cars, and Blaney pulls the pass off. Strait says, I think I'll try it on the inside. No, won't work. See how wide this racetrack is, folks? I mean, it's really hard to hit somebody here. You got to, I mean, you really, it's difficult as wide as the racetrack is to make contact with another car.
All right, Frank Kimmel, the car number 46, our current ARCA Series point leader, being shown back in 4th position. There is the roof camera, the Advanced Auto Parts Chevrolet. And he indeed is Mr. Consistency in 6 races this year. 4 top 5 finishes, 6 top 10s. That's why he had a 220-point lead in the points over Mark Thompson coming in.
Best finish 3rd 3 times.
That's this year.
This year, yes.
Yeah, he has 4 wins. All 4 of them actually coming on the short track. 3 a year ago and the 1 the year before back in 1995.
This team's sort of an amalgamation of a couple of teams. Larry Clement, of course, fielded this race car for a long time for Bob Hill, Advanced Auto.
Oh, there we got a blown engine down the corner. Will that bring out the caution they all need? Nope.
No caution so far. Hank Wetzel looks around. The ARCA telling him that's the Bobby Gerhart car. The Truck World Chevrolet for Bobby Gerhart, the former Rookie of the Year in ARCA competition, has apparently had an engine come apart.
Man, all said caution, caution, just hoping and praying, but ARCA officials took a look and said, nope.
Damn. You talk about a frustrating season. Bobby Gerhart has had a pretty tough go in 1997.
He was being shown in 17th position, 2 laps down, and now he'll have to park it and call it a day. Bobby had 2 cars in the race. Jerry Hill driving the 05 car out of the Gerhart stable, and Hill being shown in 11th spot, so he could get a possible win.
Mark Gibson has told his crew that he thinks some oil on the racetrack, and he's the guy that you would not think would want the caution flag to come out. Oh, Mark Gibson, I'm sorry. We were seeing the 66 car, and I'm thinking
Mark Thompson.
Mark Thompson.
Mark Gibson would love to see a yellow flag. He said, oh, there's oil, there's debris, there's metal, there's everything out here.
Yes.
He's probably reporting. And there goes Bobby Gerhart's car, number 85, back behind the wall. Tough break for the 38-year-old driver, 1988 Rookie of the Year. Finished 8th here last June at Michigan, had a great Speedway run, and he will not get a top 10 today.
I'll bet you Tom Sokolowski, Tim Steele's crew chief, probably went over to the ARCA official and said, man, we got to have a caution. There's stuff all over the racetrack. He's in the same boat as Mark Gibson. They'd love to see the yellow.
Yeah, let's see what happened to Gerhart.
Once again, right along with the Frank Kimmel car, and we see the engine going south down in turn 1. That was the engine on Bobby Gerhart's car. But no caution flag. Unfortunately for Tim Steele, Frank Kimmel, and Mark Gibson, no caution flag.
Now, if you're riding down the highway and you see smoke ahead of you on the interstate, Benny, the natural response is to probably put your foot on the brakes and slow down. But on a super speedway, when you see smoke ahead of you and you're driving, the response is what? Stay on the throttle and keep the car under control?
No. Well, yeah, back off the gas. Not stay on the throttle, just back off the gas. Don't hit the brakes, because any sudden movement will spin a car up. Just back off the gas. Try to figure out what's going on and what you got to do to get through that smoke.
Last thing you want to do is jam on the brake pedal.
Exactly. Here's another spot. Dave Blaine, the 80 car, trying to go by Morgan, the 11. That's for 8th spot.
Glenn Morgan, driving the number 11 out of Beaumont, Texas, a trial practice and personal injury attorney. So don't bump him, Dave, on the way by. They are battling 8th and 9th spot.
He's a mouthpiece.
Yeah, he's...
Uh-oh, here's the caution. Here's the caution they all.
Yellow is out. You're right, Benny.
And boy, did Tim Steele and Mark Gibson and some of the guys want to see this yellow. This guy right here did not want to see it.
Definitely did not want to see that caution flag. Definitely did not. And here Jimmy Kitchens, he's passing the leader. He's going to get back in the lead lane. Look at the 47 go. Can you pass him?
Yes, and what they've done this year, Benny, is they've said, we do not want you passing under the yellow. If the yellow comes out, hold your position unless you're racing for the lead. And that's what Jimmy Kitchens is doing in essence.
Or racing to get a lap back, racing the leader to get a lap back, which is what he was doing. There's Hank Wetzel waving the yellow hanky. Lap 78. We are 22 away from completion. The 06, the reason for the caution, that's Tim Mitchell out of Fayetteville, Tennessee, in the Neil Coe Pontiac. Tim Mitchell is a member of the Roller Skating Association Board of Directors. Owns a couple of skating rinks. I know how much you love to get on the skates, BP, so guys you might want to go by and chat with. Update your rollers.
Yes.
And he is rolled to a halt down the middle of the backstretch, bringing out caution again here at Michigan Speedway.
You know, guys, we saw whenever Jeff Streeter's car caught on fire up in turns number 3 and 4, all the cars slowed down and held their position, did a very nice job at that point. But as you get closer to the end of the race, it becomes a lot more important for the drivers to know exactly who you're racing with and if you need to race back to the yellow.
We might mention that Danny Pardis, one of the rookie drivers, has been on pit road for quite a while. Pardis, who came into today's race actually showing 6th overall in the point standings. He has been on pit road. As you watch now for others to come on the pit road, we know we're going to see Tim Steele. They have open pit road. We know he'll come in. And who else will make a stop?
Mark Thompson is going to go to the pits. He came in last time on lap 51, and here comes the leader.
65 miles an hour. That's the speed on pit road. Here is Thompson, the pole sitter.
Perry Tripp stayed on the racetrack. Tripp stayed on the track.
Well, he's headed your way, Bill Weber.
Well, Mark Thompson is on pit road. They were not certain they would be able to reach the finish, so Thompson had to come in and pit. Perry Tripp can go the distance, does not need fuel. He stays out. Thompson's getting right side tires. Right now, Steele leads the 46 car around the 66. The 66 now getting its left side tires. Steele pulls into his pit. This will be 4 tires and fuel. Mark Gibson is in and Kyle is there.
Oh, I'd just gone to the Gibson pits to find out if they were going to pit. They said, yeah, they were going to have to pit. All of a sudden, the caution comes out. They like to knock me out. They're jumping up and down. They changed right side tires. They're making a small chassis adjustment. He said the car was really good. He thought he could run with them, but he just needs to be a little bit tighter. Bill Weber.
Tim Steele got 4 tires. Now they had a set of 3-lap scuff tires up here on the wall. Just before the cars started coming down pit road, they changed to sticker tires. So Tim Steele has 4 sticker tires and fuel. Frank Kimmel also has 4 tires and fuel. This could be a very exciting 20-lap dash to the checkers.
Boy, what a shootout we are setting up here at Michigan Speedway. We've seen some great finishes already this year in ARCA competition at Daytona and Atlanta. And there is Tom Sokolowski and the Simlink HS Die crew for Tim Steele. There's the leader, Perry Tripp, who made the 1 pit stop. And there is Kitchen stopped on the racetrack. Kyle, what's the problem?
Okay, I know you guys said that they race back to the flag, but they're telling Kitchen's crew, we don't race back to the flag in ARCA. You go behind the 6 car where you were running when the caution comes out. He was so far ahead, he had to stop on the front stretch to get back in line. So that's where they're at right now. They're not really arguing the point down here in the pit, so evidently they're right.
There's Steve Peterson.
Gary Nelson.
And some of the officials from Michigan Speedway taking a look. That's the area up in turn 3 and 4, right in the middle between turns 3 and 4, where the incident occurred that produced the red flag for over 15 minutes. The car number 20, Jeff Streeter, catching fire. The track was burned and scarred, and they had to put a patch there. We'll come back with more racing from Michigan in a moment. Back at Michigan Speedway in Brooklyn, Michigan. These beautiful shots from high above this 1,000-acre 2-mile facility, courtesy of the fine folks of the Bud 1 Airship. There's the Budweiser Airship high above Michigan Speedway. So giving these great shots of ARCA Series action. What a beautiful day. It's not a cloud in the sky.
Oh, now, Jerry, don't lie to these people like that.
All right.
There's plenty of clouds.
A couple of clouds.
A couple of clouds.
You call me. Let's go down to Bill Weber.
And I'm with Larry Harris and Tim Steele's pit. And Larry, you were catching the gas can as it came back across the wall. What happened?
Yeah, I just had a little bit of gas left in it, splashed out, got me in the face, nothing, can't handle.
So you're okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, and the security woman who's working with our TV crew is carrying water for us and used it with you.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You guys come in good for something today. We haven't got the pizza yet, but we're still waiting.
Okay, well, what she did is she took the water and put it on a washcloth, and that's how Larry rinsed out his eyes. He was catching the fuel can as it came back across the wall. He also wanted to say hi to his aunt, Marie Pennington, who's in Crystal Beach, Florida, and she's extremely ill, but she's watching the race and wanted her to know that Larry's okay, and his driver, Tim Steele, is going to try and charge to the front right now.
All right, as we get set for what should be a shootout, we will take an opportunity to one day early wish all the fathers around the country Happy Father's Day. And we look forward to many, many more as laps winding down, less than 20 to go. Lap 81, it'll make it 82 this time by. 18 laps remain, and can Perry Tripp hold on for his first ARCA win? A crowd of 80,000 on their feet to see the finish.
He's out there on used tires. Thompson, all this competition stopped with on 4 tires. Perry Tripp has got, some contact between 47 and 66. Did you see the smoke fly when they made that contact?
And now Kitchen's down on the inside of the 47 car trying to hang on. Meanwhile, up front, it is the 6 and 66. There's the 47 car, Mark Gibson. The right side of him, that's Gibson up to the left side of your screen. The red hood, white Ford.
Just looking out the back in Tim Steele's car, back in Mark Gibson and Jimmy Kitchens as they battle. That's not for position. Kitchens a lap down. And Perry Tripp seems to be pulling away from Thompson.
Prior to that caution coming out, there was a problem. Mark Thompson was not gaining any ground at all, Benny. In fact, he was losing some ground. Some of the guys in front of him were pulling away.
And he's losing another spot as here comes Tim Steele going by Mark Thompson. This is a battle for second spot. In the corner, side by side. Oh, man. And Steele takes second away.
And Benny, Mark Gibson really had to back out of the throttle when those two were running side by side.
Now Mark Gibson takes a spot by. Here comes Frank Kimmel in the 46. And obviously something is wrong with Mark Thompson's car that dominated the first half of this race from the pole. He now finds himself back in fourth and is about to lose fourth and go back to fifth position.
Frank Kimmel, he drives alongside Mark Thompson. And Thompson was slowing down just before that last caution flag. And Jared in the booth speculated that's why he made the stop and change 4 tires was something was wrong with the car, trying to fix the chassis problem. He's very, very high. Is Thompson going to be able to save it?
Way up across the racetrack, using all of this racetrack up in turn 3 and 4. And now Thompson tries to get to the inside. That is barrier now on the inside. A couple of black cars. Thompson high. Has to go by the Blaze Alexander machine.
2 years ago, Mark Thompson was on the pole for this race, and he wrecked in that very exact same spot in turn 3. And here's a battle for the lead.
Tim Steele in the car number 16 from 26 starting spot. Hasn't made the pass yet. Perry Tripp is the white and teal car number 6, and now Steele on lap number 85 with 15 to go will take the lead for the first time today at Michigan Speedway.
And Mark Gibson right behind Perry Tripp. We can't see him looking out there. We see that red and white car sneaking the nose out. There he is, 59 car. Now Tripp tries to take a look on the inside of Steele.
And apparently Mark Thompson, not saying a thing to his crew, there's a problem with the car, hasn't commented on the radio. Now the conga line begins, trying to break the draft. Benny, you see Tim Steele making the move down the backstretch.
Making the move, trying to rob the 6 car of some of that air that he can draft off of. And here comes Frank Kimmel as he closes in right on the back of this group.
And guys, 4 of the top 5 guys, or 4 of the cars that are in the top 5 right now are in the top 5 in the points. So boy, we got a great battle here, not just on the racetrack, but for the season-long points chase.
And Mark Gibson back in third position, 39 years of old, out of Auburn, Georgia. The former Rookie of the Year back in '86, has never won. He's the car on the right side of your screen, red and white Ford Thunderbird. He finished third at Daytona, and boy, would he love to pick up his first win, as would Perry Tripp in second position.
And we see Dave Blaney, the 80 car, and Blaze Alexander, the 26 car. That is a battle for 7th spot. And give it to Blaney, the 80 car. And battle for 2nd spot.
Mark Gibson on the inside of Perry Tripp. Ford, left side of your screen, Chevrolet right. You're looking from the roof camera of Frank Kimmel, the point leader. Kimmel rides in 4th spot. Who do I follow?
Oh, some contact. The Tripp goes around. He crashes.
Oh, what a tough break for Perry Tripp from Fredericktown, Missouri. Crashes over in turns 1 and 2.
Oh, you saw it. What a great angle we had. Unfortunately for the contact of Perry Tripp and Mark Gibson, that will bring out the caution flag again with just 12 laps to go. Perry Tripp running second, trying to hold on.
And we see him moving around in the car. Always a concern when that left side hits the wall, but we see Perry Tripp moving around, trying to get the car rolling again.
No doubt about it, this is his best racetrack, guys. If he was going to win, today was his day.
Well, you saw it from the roof camera a moment ago from Frank Kimmel. Look at it from a different angle.
Mark Gibson goes in the corner, and we see the contact. Gibson, what happened? Gibson's car gets out of control. To save the car, he has to chase it up the racetrack. When he chased it, the 6 car was there. And look at the contact, the sparks that flew when Perry Tripp hit the wall. One more angle. 59 car on the inside. Mark Gibson goes in the corner. He's going to lose the back end. And when he saves it, tries to save it, which he does, he goes up the racetrack. They make contact. and around goes Tripp. And a one-car wreck, fortunately.
Look how close Jimmy Kitchens was there. Boy, he got real close to Perry Tripp as he was doing his slide.
Well, the window net is down. That's a signal to the ARCA officials that Perry is okay. So we'll come back and find out exactly how he's doing with more from Michigan in a moment. Separation is 2 car lengths in turn 4. Final lap of the 34th ARCA 200. Crew chief talking to Hillenberg, said, hang on, buddy. Bottom of the racetrack, and Hillenberg will win it.
And Tim Steele takes the lead.
Still there. Clear.
And here comes Thompson. White flag. There's a Blaney car, the 80 of the traffic. And Thompson is not going to be able to do it.
Less than a quarter of a mile from the checkered flag. It'll be Steele taking the win. Thompson in second. And Perry Tripp, what a chance to take third spot. Just a bit of a glimpse back at some of the close calls already we've seen in 1997, an ARCA competition on ESPN. That was Daytona, Andy Hillenberg's win, and of course in Atlanta with Tim Steele hanging on to victory. The same players, just a different day. Now we're going to show you why the caution came out here a moment ago.
This is right along with Frank Kimmel. And there we see Gibson on the inside. The red and white car makes contact with Perry Tripp. And we see the 6 car going sideways as the Kimmel goes by.
Well, Bill Weber has caught up with Perry Tripp's crew chief. Bill?
Dale Perry, you're able to smile. I know you're disappointed. Your driver said he's okay?
Yeah, he said he's all right. This car's hurt bad. It wouldn't roll, so they had to get a rollback or something to get it back in the garage area.
Did he tell you what happened?
Well, he indicated that the car got into him that was on the inside of him. So, you know, racing accidents, and there was still a lot of running time out there. But, you know, guy's got to do what he's got to do sometimes. And sometimes it's the wrong move, sometimes not.
It's easy to quarterback afterwards, but do you wish you'd come in and gotten some tires on that last caution?
No, it was our game plan, and you know, you start a game plan, you try to follow all the way through, and we had enough tires to finish the race. You know, the way it looked, it would probably been a 3rd spot place, but you know, you got to start someplace, and I'm just new with them, and we're trying to put things together. So,
okay, thanks for stopping. This track has broken Perry Tripp's heart before, and it did it again today.
Well, what a tough break for Perry Tripp. Last year in this race, he gambled. He made 1 pit stop and no tire change and ended up with a top 5 finish. And here are the eyes and the ears of the drivers. A lot of these guys are Winston Cup spotters that are being used today by the ARCA drivers.
I saw Chucky Joyce that does a spotting for Michael Waltrip there.
Saw Fat Boy up there who normally
There's Chucky. Hey, Chucky, wave to us. I guess he's not listening to us.
They're not listening to you, Benny. They're listening to their drivers.
That fella there, that's Chucky Joyce.
There's Chucky.
Well, these guys are telling their drivers to get ready to go. We're hoping to go back to green with 7 or 8 laps to go in this race. Now, folks, you see Tim Steele up front in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series all the time, but look at Mark Gibson right behind him. 1 week ago at Pocono, Gibson had the car to beat. We're going to settle it here with a final shootout. We'll see if Gibson has anything for him.
Yeah, let's just check with Tim Steele on the radio. Hey, Tim Steele, this is Benny Parsons. Signal 1 to go. You ready for him?
We're ready, Benny, man. I tell you what, we had to come from behind today, and the guys never gave up. So the week they had, and looks like the race is going to go bad on us, too. We're ready to go, Benny.
All right, you got about 3/4 of a lap. Get your game face on.
Oh, the game face is on, buddy.
All right, when we come back, we got a shootout from from Michigan Speedway. Our Speed Road coverage of the final laps here of the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series Jasper Engines 200 is being brought to you by Valvoline DuraBlend, the #1 selling semi-synthetic motor oil, and by the more than 1,575 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. In Michigan, we've just gone green, a 6-lap shootout here in the Irish Hills.
And look at Frank Kimmel, the 4th car in line. The red car on the very left, we're right along with. That's Tim Steele, the leader. And and Mark Gibson was running in second spot, and Frank Kimmel closed up right on his back bumper. You ever see Kimmel drive down to the inside, trying to go on the inside of Gibson? He may have him, may have position coming off the corner.
Kimmel back in line behind Mark Gibson.
That's exactly what Tim Steele needs. What happened is those two guys start racing each other.
And Wetzel gives him one handful, 5 to go here in Michigan.
Kimmel's going to try him on the outside going off of turn 2.
Frank, I could have told you not to do that if you just asked me.
Third place cars, Mark Gibson looking for his first ever ARCA win in second position, trying to move in on Tim Steele. That's Steele about 10 car lengths in front of him there as you watch it from the roof cam of the third place car of Frank Kimmel.
There they go by. Now four laps to go. 5 to go. Anyway, there's 4 or 5 laps to go, but question doesn't really matter. Can the 59 catch a 60? It looks to me like he's getting, as a matter of fact, the last time by, he was about 0.3 miles per hour faster than the leader. A little over 177 average for the 59 car the last time by.
Interesting, the front 2 cars, both Steele and Gibson, have Ernie Elliott engines on board. Both those guys, the only 2 in ARCA that run Ernie Elliott motors, so they're pretty close on horsepower. Now it comes down to chassis and driver these final 4 laps.
That time he was once again, was almost a half mile per hour faster than the 59 car than was the leader.
Coming at you at almost 180 miles an hour. Final laps at Michigan Speedway. Tim Steele, a 3-time winner in 1997. Mark Gibson behind him, former Rookie of the Year, trying to get his first ever ARCA win.
And there's a group of cars battling for position. That's Ed Barrier leading that group.
You see Bob Strait in the 21. They're going around Jimmy McCune. Now, McCune's a couple of laps down, so he is not racing for position in that group. Now, here goes Blaney. Got his sights set on getting back around Bob Strait.
That's basically 7th, 8th, and 9th.
And Blaney trying to take over the 8th spot, makes a move inside of Strait. They've been battling back and forth all day. Strait, the ARCA veteran, a 13-time winner. Blaney, the former World of Outlaws titleist, and now Strait battles him back in 3. They are still side by side.
And they come off the corner, and this is a corner that you can be on the outside as you come off turn 4. Turn 2 is a place you do not want to be on the outside as you exit that corner. Strait holds him off once again. And Mark Thompson, the 66 car, has taken over 3rd spot. There we see him. He's our pole sitter. He goes by. Frank Kimmel takes over 3rd. Enough time to catch the 2 leaders.
Should be white flag this time by for Tim Steele, who wrecked in qualifying on Thursday, had to go second round qualifying, started 26, comes out of turn 4 to take the white flag from Hank Wetzel. It is Steele, now 5 car lengths back to Mark Gibson. Gibson has closed it by 2 car lengths.
Experience certainly pays off, and Tim Steele was the only driver in the field today that has ever won a race in ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series here at Michigan. Looks like he's going to do it again today.
All right, the 12th event in ARCA competition dating back to 1980. There is Steele, the defending and 2-time series champion. Can he hold off Gibson? Make it 4 car lengths in turn 3. 4 car lengths. He's narrowed it to 4. Make it 3.5 car lengths. They come out of 4. Here comes Gibson, but the checkered flag. 2 car lengths. Make it 3 at the finish. And Tim Steele takes the win.
And Dave Blaney held his position and got by Bob Strait coming down the front straightaway, so he will take that position. He will end up in 8th place today.
And Tim Steele waves to the crowd, and Kyle, they're celebrating down in the HS Dye pits.
It seems like every time I'm in this pit, you guys are celebrating, but you had to work for it today. This wasn't like it usually is. You didn't start first or second or third. You came from the back, you got almost a lap down and came back and made that up. You made some good calls here. Wasn't as easy, was it?
No, it was definitely a struggle. Pocono was last weekend. It's good for us, so we want to go win some cup racing, so hopefully everybody will be watching. Maybe we can get a sponsor and go do that.
I tell you what, if you guys come Winston Cup racing, I hope you don't run like this, but congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Tom Sokolowski, the crew chief for the winning driver and car of Tim Steele. And guys, they earned it. They had to rebuild the back of that car after Thursday's qualifying when Steele backed in the wall in turn 3 at about 180 miles an hour. And now Steele picks up his 4th win in 1997, and he did it the hard way, Benny, from way back in the field.
And as Bill Weber told us earlier in the show, lost an engine yesterday. Had to go to a backup engine, did not get any practice at all on the engine, started the race brand new engine, but it ran 200 miles flawlessly.
And while we wait for Tim Steele to get into victory lane, let's mention we've just heard an update on Jeff Burton, who was involved in an incident this morning. His x-rays were negative. We are told he may drive the car tomorrow. They will have Morgan Shepherd standing by. That's an incident at 9:15 this morning involving Jeff Gordon, Dick Trickle, and Jeff Burton in turn 3. Unofficially, our results, Tim Steele takes the win. Great run by Mark Gibson, his best run of the year, tying his career best finish. Our pole sitter, Mark Thompson, finishing in 3rd. You take a look and see where your favorite driver finished of the 36 that started here today.
And Perry Tripp back in 22nd, folks. Tough break. Ran so well. Crashed early, late in the race. And all those cars out of the race.
Well, let's go down to victory lane where Viva, his favorite car, Bill, has gone to victory lane again.
And Tim Steele climbs out of the car in front of his hometown fans here in Michigan. And a big win for him. A kiss from his wife. And his family is here. Well, I kidded you earlier. You do everything the hard way. You crashed in qualifying. You broke a motor in final practice, but you ended up in victory lane. Congratulations.
Man, you know what? I owe this to Tom and all the guys on my crew. They could have gave up on me Thursday. You know, we were going for the pole and wrecked. And then they fixed the car, blew a motor, changed the motor. I mean, between last week and this week, I mean, they've been getting put to the test, and they don't give up. And today we were down a lap, and I mean, it's just, can't believe it. We finally won here in Michigan in June.
And you got a little bit of luck, too, when that caution came out when you needed it.
Oh, yeah, we definitely were lucky today. We were needing a caution. We wouldn't have made it to the end. I don't know how those other guys are getting such good gas mileage. Maybe we need to talk to Ernie about that. Maybe we're doing something wrong, or Tom's putting garden hoses in there instead of jets in the carburetor.
But they want to talk to you about winning, so that'd be an interesting conversation. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tim Steele's 4th win of the season, and on Flag Day, he got the big one, the checkered flag.
Indeed, there is Tim with 3-year-old daughter Kelsey and wife Brenda, and the HS Dye team celebrating, as Bill said, here in the home state of Michigan. There isn't a sweeter win than when it comes before the home state fans. Well, Steele picks up his 4th win of 1997, making career win number 24. And this young man isn't through yet, maybe cruising toward his 3rd ARCA Series championship. What a great day here. The points after 7 events. Frank Kimmel holds on. Thompson in 2nd. Mark Gibson. Tim Steele moves from 5th to 4th. And Bob Strait now being shown 5th overall in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series point standings. For Kyle Petty, Bill Weber, Ray Dunlap, and Benny Parsons, I'm Jerry Punch saying, don't forget, coming up next, the road to Indy. This has been a special presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Congratulations again to Tim.